And now, here are your hosts, Valiant Garrett and Mega Mario.
Well, we're not probably going to do a trailer breakdown, Karen, as much because, just because right now I think there's enough of those out there. But I do want to get into some theory crafting, which is something I love to do. I know when the movies ended, when Return of the Jedi ended, and essentially that Star Wars was over with. There were comics that were released, and those to me were a continuation of Star Wars. And the reason I bring those up is because one of the main characters in those comics, which to me represented the next generation of Star Wars, that if they ever made a continuation to the Star Wars franchise, they would have to be involved, is Jacen Solo and Jaina Solo. And they are the twins of Han Solo and Princess Leia. So immediately when this movie first came out, as we've started doing this podcast and I've been watching these trailers come out, the first question on my mind, at my forefront, has been, where are the twins? Where's Jacen and where's Jaina? Now, I know, Karen, that Dave said that basically all the books and all the comics and even some of the video games are not necessarily canon anymore. Can you kind of go into that a little bit? We were talking about that a little bit before.
Yeah, once Lucasfilms was acquired by Disney, a lot of people were thinking, okay, maybe they'll continue the story still, based off the books, the video games, but Caitlin Kennedy, who is the CEO of Lucasfilm, said that no, that will not be part of this movie universe of Star Wars, that they're going to go ahead and start, with a different storyline, which I understand, you got to keep everything fresh. And it was too bad because I really liked even the cartoon series that they had on Cartoon Network, but now they have the Rebels, now that's on Disney. So yeah, they're keeping it new and fresh.
So to use a comic book term, basically everything that's happened before in the novels and the books, elsewhere, like on TV, all those are kind of Elseworld stories. Mm-hmm. They don't really necessarily apply or affect this Star Wars upcoming movie. So even though Star Wars franchise, the Star Wars universe, and the people who are the producers, J.J. Abrams and the Lucas Entertainment people and the Disney people have freed themselves from all this history that we've had in the novels and the comics and the TV shows, there's still principal characters, there's still core characters that are going to play themselves out in this movie. For example, Princess Leia and Han Solo. And I know some people have said, even guessed that Princess Leia and Han Solo aren't together anymore. That's just poppycock to me. That's just rubbish. How can they not be together? Of course they're together. And I'd be mad if they weren't together because I don't want any type of drama-rama like that in this movie. Those two are together, and they're going to have kids, and those kids are going to be central characters in whatever Star Wars movie comes out. To me, that's Star Wars 101. And I could be wrong, and that's cool, and the movie could take another turn, but Princess Leia, the actors, and Han Solo, the actors that play them, aren't spring chicks. They're older actors, and they're not always going to be around for forever here, and they've got to, at some point, hand the baton over to someone else. And if we look at the previous Star Wars, it's about generations. It's about Anakin, and then after Anakin, it's about Luke, and to a certain extent about Princess, and about Leia, and their interactions. So this is essentially Star Wars. For the most part, it's been a story in the movies about a family, the Skywalker family. So even though, Princess Leia never really officially carried the Skywalker name, she's Anakin Skywalker's daughter. And even though she is with Han Solo and Jacen and Jaina, their kids are going to carry the Solo name, it's still the Skywalker legacy. It's still that family line that essentially is dominating a lot of these movies. And I expect that to continue. So now that I've set up some framework for my theory craft, the question becomes, where are the twins? And after seeing this trailer, I feel pretty confident that I know where the twins are and I know who they are. And I don't think this is a crazy theory. I've seen it, after I wrote what I wrote just now, after I did my notes, I did go online and I did see if anybody else had this theory, if anybody else was bringing it up. And there are some places that are discussing it. So I'm not the only one, so I don't want to make it sound like I figured it all by myself. It's definitely a going rumor, but I'm going to tell you what I think after watching these trailers. And well, what I think is that we're going to start with Rey. I believe she's Jaina. And even as the trailer opens, the question that is being asked, apparently by Lupita Nyong'o's character, who's doing the narration, is, "Who are you?" And you hear Daisy Ridley's voice say, "I'm nobody." So I think to a certain extent, this person is trying to hide their identity. They're trying to run away from something, and that to me is Jaina. And again, I'll stick with Rey. That could be a nickname or a code name that she has.
Could be.
One of the things with Rey is that that people have made a big deal about is recently they've seen her on a Topps trading card piloting the Millennium Falcon.
Wow.
So it's not to say that the Millennium Falcon is this mystery ship that not anybody can pilot, but I think that if she truly is Jaina Solo, the daughter of Han Solo, that ship is her ship. That's part of her inheritance. That's part of her legacy. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of craziness that she's flown the ship before. And if something happens where she had to jump in and pilot the ship, that she could do it because she's done it before. Because it's her dad's ship. And also in the trailer, at 8 minutes and 47 seconds, we see Rey crying over what looks to be some type of furry person, and that would be Chewbacca. And she's showing a lot of emotion there. She's showing a lot of crying.
Don't say it, Mario.
No, I'm not saying Chewbacca's going to die, but at some point Chewbacca gets knocked down, or he's injured, or he's hurt. And I really don't think Chewbacca will die, but I think that, Rey is showing a lot of concern, more concern than just, hey, here's some traveler guy I just met that's technically a stranger to me. She's showing some real emotional attachment to that, and it would make sense that the emotional attachment she's showing is because this is her dad's best friend, and this is somebody she's grown up with, or has seen before and has a strong connection with. Again, her dad's best friend, which technically in some families, your dad's best friend could be, sometimes you might call him, hey, that's my uncle. That's my Uncle Chewbacca. So it could be something like that Rey's showing that emotion because essentially part of her extended family is hurt and she's scared of losing him. One of the first images we saw with Star Wars was a picture that JJ put out. I think it was on Twitter. I know, Karen, you brought it to me. And I went back and I looked at it as I was kind of forming this argument in my mind. And I couldn't believe it. I saw the picture. And this is something else I did see on another website that someone confirmed, that Daisy Ridley is sitting next to Han Solo and Carrie Fisher. And supposedly, I remember when that picture came out, we were all trying to draw clues of what kind of relationship each of these characters are going to have with each other. And now seeing that, again, it's another clue that Rey is, in fact, Jaina, and she is, in fact, the daughter of the Solos. There's another theory out there, kind of finishing up with Rey, that she's Luke Skywalker's daughter. And that's definitely possible, but to me, it just doesn't seem to fit very well. If Luke's truly a Jedi and he's living the life of a Jedi, Jedis, as we saw during the whole Anakin Padme thing, they really don't take on a spouse. They really don't do that. And I can see Luke kind of going the same route, and it would make the movie a little bit more linear. And again, focus on the Solos, where obviously Han Solo doesn't take that type of oath or pledge, and neither does Leia. They're not technically Jedi. And I can definitely see that after everything that happened with the Empire and everything that they've been through, they would want to start a family. So I don't believe that Rey/Jaina is Luke Skywalker's daughter. And let me jump here to Kylo Ren. One of the cool images in the trailer is that Kylo Ren is standing in front of the Darth Vader helmet that's been burnt and charred and is in bad shape. And I have to ask myself, where did Kylo Ren get Darth Vader's helmet from? And one thing, again, as I was putting together this case here that I'm giving right now, is that Kylo Ren got that because it's in his family, because it's a family heirloom. Where else would he just waltz in and get it? Because last time we saw, Luke Skywalker had possession of Darth Vader's helmet. Right. He had possession of his armor. So technically, Kylo Ren is Jason Solo, and Darth Vader, a.k.a. Anakin Skywalker, is Kylo Ren's G-Dad. It's his granddad. And essentially, it's his family heirloom, and he was able to go ahead and pick it up. And from there on, he's essentially gravitated towards the ideals that his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Darth Vader, was trying to put forth when he turned to the dark side, when he joined the Emperor, and when he joined the Galactic Empire. So what are some of the ideas that Kylo Ren's trying to put forth? Because that's what he basically says in the trailer. He says, I'm going to finish what you started, and nothing is going to get in our way. So what's Kylo Ren trying to finish? Well, I actually have been rewatching the prequels a little bit as Star Wars has been coming out, and I've been writing articles, just kind of trying to, as I've been researching these articles that I'm writing. And one of the things that's clear is that Anakin wanted order in the universe, and he didn't want anybody to suffer. And he didn't want, at the end, what turned him to the dark side in the end is Padme dying. He didn't want his loved ones to die. And that's something that I think a lot of us over years have been able to relate to about Darth Vader. That he's not an evil person, but he's just got so much rage in him and he can't control his emotions that essentially he turns to the dark side because he gives way to that. And even in the first Star Wars prequel, The Phantom Menace, that's kind of what Yoda's warning him about is, fear turns to anger, anger turns to hate. Hate is a path to the dark side. And that's essentially what we saw with Anakin. He went through all those stages until he's ending up murdering his fellow Jedi and fighting Obi-Wan and joining the Emperor. And I can see the same thing happening to his grandson. I can see the same thing happening to Jason. It's also obvious that Kylo Ren, he is the leader of the Knights of Ren. So there seems to be, I said obvious, but at least it's obvious to me, but there seems to be like he's got some kind of romanticism, some kind of some kind of ideal has really stirred something in him. And obviously the Jedi were considered Jedi Knights. So it's no sense that he is trying to draw from his family history. He's trying to draw from what Darth Vader was doing. And Darth Vader at one point was a Jedi Knight. And it's possible that something happened in his life, there was some kind of loss, where he's essentially trying to do the same thing as Darth Vader is, bring order to the universe, rule it with an iron hand because he knows better, and he's going to do what's best for everyone involved. Doesn't matter how he does it. So that's what I think the Kylo Ren character is, and if he does have this type of pedigree, if he does have this type of history, and he can prove that he's Darth Vader's grandson, if he can prove that he's essentially, the last time we saw the predominant Jedi, that he's Luke Skywalker's uncle, that Luke Skywalker is his uncle, and he's the nephew, and Princess Leia is his mom, then he can rally all kind of support to him, and therefore find the Knights of Ren and be their leader, which is what the trailer is hinting that he is, and that's why he can wield such authority and such power. And we don't know what's going to happen. Is he a Sith? Is he not a Sith? Is he trained to be a Sith? Is he a pseudo Sith? We'll find all those things out, but again, to me, it all fits that Kylo Ren would be Jason. And we saw in the trailer, too, I can't believe I almost forgot to say this, we see Han Solo a lot in the trailer. And supposedly he has a big part to play in this movie. Well, it would make sense that he's got a big part to play in this movie because his kids are the one running around, creating all this commotion. Whether Rey is in hiding and she doesn't want anything to do with the Force because she's scared of the legacy and all this weight that, her family has behind it. And his son is out there being the main, antagonist in this movie, which would be Kylo Ren. So it makes sense that Han Solo feels a responsibility to show up and kind of put things right. And at the very least, reach out to his son and his daughter. To me, that makes total sense, and it would be a great way to put Han Solo front and center in this movie, which he does deserve. All right, Karen, so that's my theorycraft. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to be expecting to see when the movie comes out. Time will tell if this is the case, but to me, it makes a really good story. It makes sense. It ties back into the original Star Wars, and I think you can't just throw away all the novels and all the books and everything. Yeah. You've got to at least try to respect that, at least incorporate it into it. And I think we're going to see that with Jason and Jaina. So I'm done. Do you have any other final thoughts or anything else to say before we kind of leave the Star Wars topic? I know I've rambled here for a little bit.
I mean, that was a good theory. I mean, there's other theories saying that Luke Skywalker possibly went to the dark side as well. We will see if that's true. And I think for sure a main character will die, especially maybe Han Solo will be the one to die because, Harrison Ford has said he wants his character to die. And the only reason why he didn't die was because George Lucas was like, nope, you're staying alive. But now that, it's out of his hands, maybe we'll see him die.
Yeah, I've thought about that, and I said Chewbacca won't die. I won't say the same thing about Han Solo. I don't want him to die. I think we all, as a character, we love Han Solo, and we love Harrison Ford portraying him. And I want Princess Leia and Han Solo to have a happy ending.
Me too.
I don't want them to go. I don't want our Star Wars mom and dad to be separated in any way. I want them together, and hopefully this new generation here can take over and learn from them. And I think this is what we're going to see in this movie, a lot of transition. To me, at the core of all this, it's got to be Jason and Jaina. The Solos are so huge. The Skywalkers are so huge. It's really their movie. They're the main characters. It's a soap opera, and they're the main family. And in any soap opera, you've got offshoots, and you've got different families and different things going on, but there's usually a core family that kind of binds everything together, that everybody kind of bounces or reacts off of. And I think it's the Skywalker, and now the Skywalker Solo family.
The Megacast, your new source for superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, action, and adventure films. From MegaMovieNews.com.